ALDE Group.
Prime Minister, Moldova unfortunately has become known for some cases of corruption. For instance, the laundromat case regarding banking. Now, the people responsible for that are not only still not in prison, but they're also exercising their functions still. So I'd like to know, what is your government doing about corruption? We're also worried about the electoral law that you wish to implement, which would actually try to eliminate the rights of other entities in your parliament, it would appear. So how can citizens really trust the institutions of your country if that is the kind of authoritarian message that you're sending out?
Filip, would you like to respond?
I would like to thank you. In fact, your question can be divided into two parts, even though it was one question, because we do have in Moldova, we have the so-called the theft of the billion, which has generated the political and the economic crisis of 2015. Because of the theft of the billion, because 3 Moldovan banks have been defrauded. This is on the one hand. On the other hand, you talked about the laundromat. It's a different case, because unfortunately, more than $23 billion have been laundered through Moldova. This is money originating in the Russian Federation. So we should make a clear distinction between the two, because in the first case, when it comes to the bank fraud, it was a case on which we focused our efforts immediately after we took up office, because it was a very sensitive issue and a very debatable issue in our society. And I would like to draw your attention to the fact that we have undertaken the following. You will see that a number of competences do not rest with the government, but since this issue was discussed, we set 3 directions in which we should be moving. First and foremost, and I would like to highlight that. So the first priority step was to take actions to make sure that this bank fraud will not ever happen again, and will not continue and will not happen in any other banks. By the way, this was the key issue in our discussions with the IMF. A whole package of laws was enacted, strengthening the powers of the National Bank of the country. And I can tell you for sure that such bank frauds are no longer possible in Moldova. Second, we have taken actions to recover the money that was stolen from the banks. We have signed a contract with an international investigation company, and this company has presented their draft report about a month ago, and they already identified $600 million which left Moldova and never came back. And this investigation company told us where the money went. So now we are at the stage of recovering the money, and while the investigation is still ongoing. And the third point, which is equally important, the investigation, the prosecution of all those who are guilty, of all those who participated in the bank fraud. And we do have people who have been convicted. So you will see that this bank fraud, which has, by the way, has given rise to a lot of populism in Moldova. We have political forces in the country which have grown thanks to speculations on this bank fraud. You know that such frauds cannot be solved easily or quickly. Therefore, we will persevere. Once the recovering strategy is in place. We will act swiftly to make sure that the money will come back to the country. By the way, quite recently, one of the key players in the fraud has been convicted. Well, there are different voices. Even the president of the country has initiated a referendum on the bank fraud. And because the president of the country is not happy that this money should be recovered, should be recovered from the taxes. And we believe this is a populist move. It was necessary. It was necessary to take that action in order to have a program with the International Monetary Fund. It was necessary to put that money under the public debt. And at the same time, the government, once the government has undertaken to do that, we have to deliver on that. I would like to assure you that ultimately all those responsible will be prosecuted and will be convicted in court. Thank you.